All right, I see the 1 second. That's good enough. Yo and hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Minions of the Zoo. This is Nightstream 1281, and we all know what could possibly go wrong. I'm only asking for, someone's got to. I'm your keeper, Delahazed, and with me tonight, as always, is Terry Diamantis. Hey, bud.
Hey, how's it going?
It could be better, could be worse, but as always, better than I deserve.
Doing
How are you, bud?
well. I've been playing a bunch of fighting games, and I played the original Street Fighter 2 back when there was like 8 characters in it, and the damage in that thing is insane. Like one throw is a quarter of your life. It's like I forgot just how extreme it was back then.
Yeah. As we were mentioning before the stream, I've been playing some Saints Row games lately, and
Yes.
it's funny. I was as I told you, I started with Gat Out of Hell in the series, the one that comes after Saints Row 4, and it's funny. As I told you, but the audience doesn't know. I was playing it because I got so addicted to playing it when I was playing it because it gave me all these ungodly powers as I progressed through, and of course I'm a sucker for any free roam city in a game that lets you fly through it with actual wings. So that was definitely a big seller for me. And fucking the only downfall was whenever I go have fun, like you know how in GTA 5 or Saints Row, like the knockoff GTA 5 or the GTA game, people like to waste time, just go in and cause massive carnage and destruction, right? And then just as you're doing that, the level of let's just call them enforcement that comes to subdue you for causing such unlawful chaos gets progressively stronger as you get more notoriety out, right?
Yes.
Well, in Get Out of Hell, when you do this, at a certain level, these creatures come out that can throw a bomb that when this bomb goes off, if you're in the blast radius, will nullify all your devilish powers.
Oh, geez, that's a bit rough.
And your devilish powers include the wings of Lucifer, satanic speed, so you run so fast that you leave a trail of flames behind you,
Nice.
and any other elemental power that you have set, like summoning minions to fight for you or freezing people just by standing there and having them in close proximity, stuff like that is all disabled.
Oh, wow.
Your guns are still active, which is good.
I'd hope so, because that's not a devil power. That's just a gun.
But it makes you feel, but after going from like that to back to just the guns themselves, it feels so limiting. And I was watching a clip of the story of Saints Row 4, which they're in a simulated world, right?
Yeah.
And because he's in his own simulated dream world, he gets superpowers when he's in there. And during the storyline, he's in someone else's simulated world, so he doesn't have powers there because it's not his world. He's like, why is everyone trying to take away my superpowers? I'm like, that was me playing Gat Out of Hell.
My big issue with Saints Row, and I only played the first two. Well, I played the third one, but I didn't like it. But the side stuff is actually mandatory. Like you need to have done a certain amount of side stuff to unlock the next story mission. Like to build up your street cred or whatever it's called. Right. You need to do a certain number of the side missions before the story will allow you to continue. I prefer what GTA did, where look, here's the story mission. It's marked on the map. If you want to continue the story, you know where to go. If you don't, hey, there's all these other dots on the maps you can check out. I didn't like being forced to do the side stuff when, like, I wanted to just blast through the story and, like, not too bad. You've got to drive around a truck spraying shit on people's houses for, 2 hours instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate when you're given an open world and stuff like that, and it's so constricting that you have all these places you could go, but we demand that you go to these specific places if you want to progress. It's like, okay, why are you giving me the option if it doesn't do me any good?
Exactly.
Like, and funny thing, like a lot of the story progression missions I ended up doing in Gat Out of Hell ended up being because I was flying around doing the random side missions, and I happened to fly into a space over a main mission, and it auto started the story. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm already here. I might as well get this done on my way. Fucking go for it.
Yes. No, Saints Row 2, I actually really, really liked. I found it struck the perfect balance between serious and silly, and that was the only thing that I really disliked was that having the story kept from me, because I prefer to do things at my own pace. If I'm in a story mood, I want to be able to do story missions for as long as I want to do story missions. I don't like this. Okay, we've given you one. Now you have to earn the next one. I was like, that was my big complaint with Saints Row.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from. I like that too. I also like it that I also like it because that way, if I want to just go, try and go through all the story missions and save the side missions for later, or vice versa, I could do that, and then it'll if I do the vice versa, that'll make doing the story mode, boom, that much easier, that much faster, and all that jazz.
I definitely prefer GTA because, what would happen is if one mission ends and it's really, really interesting and I want to play the next one, I'll just drive to the next mission. Whereas in Saints Row, it's like, oh man, I can't wait to. Oh wait, I've got to do all these other things to find out the next part of the story. God damn it.
Yeah. And I do like that too, because if I am going just trying to focus on the story mode and I can save the side missions for when I'm feeling not doing anything that important or time wasting or just fucking around kind of thing, I can have it there. Or if I'm going and I happen to run into a story mission that I am not capable of completing, I can use those side missions I can fail that mission, go do some side missions and level up that way, and then come try again.
Yeah. But other than that one aspect, Saints Row 2 was excellent. That I would actually put Saints Row 2 above GTA 4.
And with that one aspect in mind, I would definitely put them far above Final Fantasy 13.
Final Fantasy 13 was frustrating.
Don't I know it?
But even without all the shit that happened, with things I forget the details, but it's corrupted your save or something, or something went wrong, that made it even worse.
Oof. All I know is if you don't do things a specific way, you're going to get to a point, no matter where it is, you're going to find yourself at a point where you can't progress unless you restart from very far away, at the very least, if not the beginning. Because what happened with me is I just nothing bad happened. It's just it became a slog because it's referred to as corridor simulator, and that isn't even being unfair to it. You are walking in a straight line, and the combat is not avoidable. You can see them before you get into the fight, but you can't avoid them. You're walking in a straight line, having set encounters at set times, and it's this isn't what I want from a Final Fantasy game. I will say that there was one chapter where you had an open world, and that was great. That was a really good chapter. I think that was that the chapter with Zaz and Vanille?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That was a good chapter.
You actually had this open world, and you could do special monster fights, and there's you actually had the freedom to do what you wanted instead of walking in a straight line and fighting what you're told to fight. So very frustrating game. And I do think it's interesting because if anyone has played Final Fantasy X, that is also extremely linear. But I absolutely loved 10 and I hated 13. And I think it's because the story in 10 is told better. I won't say that it's a better story. I'll say that it's told better. Because in 13, they use phrases and terms that you do not understand. It's like, well, fortunately for you, we have this data log of all the terms you come across in the game. And if you don't, you can look it up. Like, that is terrible storytelling. Like, everything that happens in 10, because Tidus doesn't have any knowledge of the world, everything that is explained to him is also being explained to the player to bring them up to speed. Whereas in 13, the characters know everything. So it's like, well, shit, if you don't happen to know everything because this is your first time playing the game, just read the glossary. We've got you covered. No, you're supposed to introduce characters. You're supposed to introduce terms. I don't want to be like, what the fuck is a foul C? And they're like, oh, wait, hold on. Push the start button. Scroll down the data log. Foul C. Okay. Oh, okay. That thing was a foul C. Okay, let's continue. What's this bullshit term now? Like, it was told terrible. It was a terrible way to tell the story.
Yeah, foul C, less C, pulseless C. It's like, wait, what? How many different names you got to call it? What's the difference? Why? No.
And that was the other thing. The names were too similar. Like, if you don't know what a foul C versus a less C is, like, I don't blame you. Because they're practically the same word and they mean totally different things.
And just to make sure, just for anyone in the audience who may have hearing problems, we are saying foul C, not foul chi. We are having none of that talk here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just to avoid further confusion, Terry has made sure to spell it for the hearing impaired.
The foul C was like some sort of god monster that was ruling the world, and the Lussi was the individuals that they sort of gave a task to, and if they didn't fulfill that task, they would turn into a Seath. That's what it was. A Seath was a Lussi that failed its task.
Yes.
So if you're confused, imagine 40 plus hours of game of this.
And then, of course, if I'm not mistaken, if you do succeed, if I'm remembering correctly, if you do succeed, you're then turned into a crystal. And legend says you're blessed with eternal life or a long life, whatever it is. But in reality, you're just basically in stasis until once again you're awoken with a new task. Yes,
that is exactly right.
Oh man, can you imagine a fate worse than death?
Yeah. No,
Final Fantasy 13 said, "Hold my beer."
So if anyone hasn't played it, I encourage you to not play it. Maintain your FF13 virginity. It is a terrible story, badly told. The gameplay is insanely linear for what's supposed to be an RPG. When you level up your character, you don't even get to choose how you level up your character. You had the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X, which had all these branching paths, and you could make your character better at certain. Not in this game. You are given the crystal grid or whatever it was called, and it's a line that you follow, and you get set power-ups at set points. Like, you have taken all the interactivity out of Final Fantasy. Why even play it at this point?
And it never ends. It just keeps growing and branching out, and you keep getting more paradigms to unlock and branch out, and it's like you can never keep up, which is how I got fucked over, because I try, and unless I have done research and know otherwise, or have learned this on my own that it needs otherwise, I try to keep my leveling up of characters in games as balanced as possible to
I did the
max
same.
them out.
Yep.
Just because, like, I don't want to specialize in one thing and have it fuck me over. I'd rather be balanced all the way through, and then know it'll be that much easier to go, okay, this one I can focus on more for a while than these ones until I pass this level, and then I can just level off again. That's my mindset. But with this, you can't do that.
No, you can't. If you choose each character has 3 paradigms that they're good at and 3 paradigms that they're bad at. The ones that they're bad at cost like 20 times more experience per level than the ones that, and like, if you buy even a single level in one that you're bad at, that kind of fucks your character over unless you're already very far into the game and already very highly powered up. And Cynic says he played a third of it and gave up. I do not blame you.
I was multitasking there for a second. I wasn't ignoring you. If anything, I am ignoring chat, which I feel bad about, but they know I'm a bad host anyway, so wow.
Yeah. They know
Canadian accent is strong as a host. I just said host.
They should set their expectations accordingly. They know what they're in for.
Wow. Wow. I'm actually taken aback by that right now.
No, 13 was terrible. 15 was better than 13, but I still didn't think it was very good. I don't know if you've played that one, but
which one?
15, Final Fantasy 15.
No, I have not played anything past 13 yet. I still haven't forgiven Final Fantasy for that. I will one day because I want to try the other ones, and I know, and I know for sure that most Final Fantasy games have different styles of gameplay. In my own experience. But that's
I'm
just not ready to forgive them yet.
That's the idea, is that each one is unrelated to the others. Which is why them doing a sequel to 10 was such a big deal. It was the first time that they had a direct sequel in Final Fantasy.
Unpopular opinion, I actually enjoyed Crisis Core. Playing that game was fun for me. But that was probably more because I was enjoying the storyline as opposed to the game itself.
I don't think I played Crisis Core. I think I've seen you play it on stream.
I think I played it once or twice, but I definitely remember playing it back when I had a PSP.
I'm pretty sure I never played it myself. I mostly stuck to the mainline series. I didn't really get into the spin-offs. I tried playing Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's cool, but it's not Final Fantasy. It's very much just a tactical sort of... The idea is that it's all battles. There is a story, but instead of just mashing A to get out of the random battle, each one is like a set piece where you've got 5 characters, they've got 10, and you've got to maneuver around the battlefield. It's fun, but it's not Final Fantasy.
In about 10 to 20 minutes, I'm going to be able to say whatever I want about anything, and the only thing I have to worry about is YouTube listening in, because Monkey is about to go live.
Oh, nice.
So we are about to lose 2 to 3 people.
Oh, that's all right.
And you know what? I don't blame them one bit. I'd probably be watching too if I wasn't here hosting, but that's because I don't like me for no reason whatsoever.
Even if they do go watch Monkey, the stream is still available for people to watch later.
Oh, sure. Ruin it for me. I kid, folks. I just say that because damn you, Monkey. Now I have to wait till after this to watch. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
I did miss a couple of questions on the chat, though. I've just been waiting to address them. I did see them. They're both from Mr. Yes, of course. He first asks if I have played Resident Evil 8 yet, to which I respond, what the fuck you talking about with yet? Second question it asks is, when is your next Super Seducer stream, and will you pick up where you left off? yes and yes. My streams will be whenever they are. I do not. If you've been paying attention, which clearly you haven't, if you have to ask, I do things on a whim. If I feel like doing it, I do it. If not, I don't. It's a lazy way to go about it, but that's how I am, and I will not change because I'm just doing this for fun.
Absolutely.
I apologize if that is unfortunate for anyone else. I truly do, and I appreciate that if that's unfortunate for some people. But it's just how it's going to be. And as of lately, I've been feeling very unmotivated with the last 2 times I've hosted Minions. YouTube and OBS have not been cooperative with me, so I've been very hesitant to even try my own streams that would definitely require OBS. So once I've got that figured out and I'm feeling up to it, I will definitely be doing a stream, and I definitely make sure that on a Saturdays will be Super Seducer streams until I've gotten all 3. Most people watch when Sanguine, Prospero, Skep, or the Harry are the host. Second most views are Quiz, Della, and Poppy are tied for third. Okay. And?
I think, I mean, if we're going to go there, there's a sense of familiarity because when the people he named are streaming, it's usually the same group of people on all of those 4 streams. So people kind of get used to the way the stream is with those people. And so that kind of gets seen as default Minions to an extent. That's probably why it gets the most views. It's kind of what people expect Minions to be.
No, I get it. And it also goes with the fact that it's because of the varied host. They have their own different style of show for the most part, which appeals to different people. And
yes.
and thus explaining the difference in audiences, which is fine. And
yeah.
Mr. Yes is just saying, and that's fine. I don't mind that you're just saying. I just don't see why it was needed to be brought up. There was absolutely no need for it. Is all it is. Like, I got no problem with it. I got no problem saying it. I just don't see the point in it being said. Is all. Like, there's no need to apologize, man. I'm just saying. Is all.
It was a strange thing to bring up, but you don't need to apologize. It just
came across as confusing as to why it was brought up. That's all it was, man. There's no big deal. It's nothing like that, man. It was just confusing as to why it was brought up. That's all.
Yeah. But yeah, so Final Fantasy Tactics was like fun for the fighting bits, but I think I would have liked it more if it wasn't called Final Fantasy, because I think that set my expectations the wrong way. So that when it ended up being a tactical fighter instead of an RPG is like not what I was going in wanting. So I think that's sort of soured my experience.
Fair enough, yeah. Hey, Johnny, nice of you to join us in the chat there, bud. And that's another thing too, like people get burnt out on things, whether it's political burnout or just their favorite show. Like, we all get burnt out of something we enjoy from time to time. It happens.
Yeah.
There's that too, right?
I've gone through periods where I've just not played video games because like I just need a break. Because yes. I play them all the time, but sometimes it's just like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm just gonna do something else. And
right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just normal.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's I've got the website sureyoucan.com, and it's got like a list of, it's not every fighting game, but it's a long list of fighting games. I'm just working down the list and sort of like not playing every game on the list, but at least trying the ones that sort of catch my eye. And right. I sort of, in the Capcom section, there was a game called Cyberbots. And it's like, this looks cool. And then I played it. It's like, I don't want to play this anymore. Like, it was a cool idea, but I just didn't enjoy it.
Fair enough.
Because it's like, as the name suggests, it's robots fighting. It's like, this sounds cool. You can break the other fighter's arm off, so that sort of stops them doing certain moves. It's like, yeah, this is really cool. And then I played it. It's like, nah, not good.
Mm-hmm.
So they're definitely worth checking out. An emulator called Null DC Bear. It claims to be a Dreamcast emulator, but it's actually an emulator for just about every system prior to the PS2. So if you want to play a game, this has an emulator for it, and it even has access to almost every game that was released on every platform. So like you don't have to go Googling for ROMs. You just go into the DLC section and download it directly from them. So like that takes out one of the biggest pains in the ass, is that like you don't know which sites you can trust. You don't know, are you going to get a virus? If you just use Null DC Bear, it just says, look, here's the archive.com link of every PlayStation game that we could find a ROM for. It's just here. You download it through the emulator, or if that doesn't work for some reason, they give you the link so you can just download it off the website. So yeah, I'm having a great time with that.
Fair enough. And
Your boy Cat.
Speaking of giving the link, look who popped in.
Now let's see if everything's working.
Just gonna wait for him to talk.
Mm-hmm. Well, he just said something.
Damn it!
I saw the voice thing pop up. I'm good. Not this time.
Can't blame the guy for trying, right? How you doing, Johnny? Oh, sure. Now he's muted. Fucking cat people.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's gonna stay muted. Oh, there he is.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to still adjust things. I shifted rooms, so things are still kind of a mess.
Fair enough.
And Mr. Yes says, nice shot of you and Pat. That is actually not a Photoshop. That is just what Johnny looks like.
I mean, yeah. Hadn't you heard?
Yeah, I am we are the same height, Pat and I. We just are almost identical twins.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny Hellcat.
There you go. That'll do her.
No, the fact that I keep this picture is because it makes Pat laugh every time. So
right.
I'm good. I'm good with this.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good picture.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first attempts at Photoshop. As you can see, part of his head is still up at the very top over there.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten around to fixing it.
Yeah, it's all right. Close enough is good enough.
Exactly.
So how are you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad. How about you?
All right.
It's yeah. I was playing Darkstalkers as well, and that's another one where I love the characters in the game, and then when I play the actual game, it's like, I just wish this was Street Fighter.
That's like Marvel versus Capcom almost.
Oh God.
See, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I really liked, but that was the only one.
Yeah. I like the arcade version of Marvel vs. Capcom, and I think that was also 2.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is like the most broken game that I've ever played, and that's actually why it's awesome.
Did you watch that clip that Cynic posted in that conversation with Sniper 2?
Oh, yes. I did see Sniper 2.
I had never actually played that either. And so I watched that clip and I'm like, oh my God, I can only imagine paying $50 for that and then just taking it home and like what the hell did I do?
Yeah, no, that was bad. That was very bad. It cracked me up, but just watching it is like, ugh. And that's rough. Yeah, it's funny going back and playing games that you have fond memories of, and then realizing that you didn't remember them quite as accurately as you thought.
I don't know if I'd describe it as that. It's interesting, that's for sure. But personally, maybe I'm just weird. I prefer when you go to play a game for the nostalgia period and it's still good. Like Brutal Legend.
Oh yeah.
That was a game that stood the test of time so far.
Yeah, I still haven't played it. I think because I watched you play it, I kind of just in my mind categorized it as something I've done, even though I didn't actually play it.
Played
by association.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, like
it's the same with the remake of Final Fantasy VII. I've never played it, but because I've watched 2 playthroughs of it, it kind of feels like I have.
That's like my stepson playing God of War 3, and then he got his own PlayStation 3, but I got the trophies for it, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I like achievements. Like even before achievements became a thing, I had the idea of achievements, and I was like wishing someone would implement them. And then the Xbox 360 came along. It's like they did my thing. It's like this is perfect. And it's like I ran out and bought an Xbox as soon as I found out. It's like, oh shit, this is awesome.
And then it shortly died.
Yeah. I do think there's a skill to doing good achievements. Like a lot of games just put achievements in because either they have to because they're on Xbox and like that's the rule, or because they know they're popular. But if you do a bad achievement, it can kind of suck the fun out of a game. So there's definitely an art and a skill to doing a good achievement list.
Yeah, there's a couple of cheese balls ones out there.
One of my favorite achievements, there's a game called, what was it? Is it Hate Plus? I think it was Hate Plus. And the basic idea is there's a character that dies, and the achievement is to make it to the end of the game without them dying. But wearing their original outfit, and it's literally impossible, right? The only way to, if you bring them back, they change, they come back with a different outfit. So the achievement is completely impossible, but it's called Level 4 Revive Materia, which is like what was rumored to be the way to bring Aerith back to life in Final Fantasy VII. So nice. There was no level 4 revive materia in the game. And so like the myth was if you got revive up to 4, you could save Aerith. So they made an impossible achievement, which is a reference to an impossible materia in Final Fantasy VII. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's clever.
While I've got you here, Johnny, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the stream or not, but earlier Terry and I were talking about how I was playing the Saints Row series lately, and the first one I was playing was called Gat Out of Hell, and I kept thinking of you while I was playing it because I was like, you know what, this would be perfect for like a Johnny Hellcat meme, because his main character's name fits so well. His name is Johnny Gat, and you could always easily for you do a Photoshop of your face over him and call it Johnny Gatto.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking Johnny Hellcat, but
that too. that was a second choice in my head.
Actually, it was really funny. My my Nintendo my Nintendo online username is Johnny Gatto.
That's awesome.
Because they actually won't let you use Hellcat.
Oh, they're Puritans about hell.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so stupid. Yeah. It's funny because the Donkey Kong rap contains the word hell.
Right? Is that why Badger has such a problem with it?
Maybe. That
Oh.
Kong is one hell of a guy. But yeah, in the Super Smash Brothers version, they actually change it to heck. And like, why? Why? What's wrong with the word hell?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
No, they're definitely Puritans.
I never noticed that, and I was thankful to be blissfully unaware.
It's so I forget who it was. Someone on Twitter was talking about rap, and I explained there is one good rap song in existence.
This is true.
No, it was when they were talking about the Eminem.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Weirdo guy that looks kind of like Buffalo Bill.
Huh?
Some rap.
Never mind. Don't answer. I don't want to know.
It says enough.
Exactly why I don't want to know. That says enough.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Johnny pointed out, is like, I haven't even clicked the link and I know what song this is going to be. Like, well, yeah, I already told you it's the only good rap song in the world. That can only be referring to one song.
I saw something beautiful today that made it as much as you might disagree, it made it well worth the trip outdoors today, Terry. I had to go to the store for food and beverage, and on my way out of the store, I seen a truck parked in front waiting for, I'm assuming, someone who was inside. And on the back windshield was a nice sticker with a middle finger and the words, "Fuck you, Trudeau."
Oh, nice.
I was like, yes!
And suddenly things made sense.
Yes! Finally, someone in this town with a set of balls. They're not necessarily that big because, the truck he's driving, but still, it's nice to see someone with a set.
I actually got a letter from the Prime Minister of Australia, which I promptly threw in the bin.
I got one from Joe Biden.
There you go. They're rubbing elbows with the elites.
That I directly threw in the garbage.
Yeah.
Attaboy. I mean, alternatively, you could save it until the end of summer and potentially get a few more and just use them for kindling for a campfire.
No, I got forced into enrolling to vote. They finally noticed that I wasn't, and so the letter from the PM was just, "Thank you for enrolling." That's all it was.
Thank you for forcibly enrolling.
Thank you for complying.
Pretty much. So they noticed that there was no one in this apartment registered to vote, and I thought, if I don't register, they might think it's vacant or try to have it condemned. I don't want to take any chances. I'll register. So I have decided, though, every time I'm forced to vote, I will be voting for Richard Leruana.
Attaboy. Make your vote count.
Yeah, and Cynic says I had a good run. Yeah, considering that I was supposed to register at 18 and I'm now 40, I think I dodged it pretty well.
22 years is definitely a hell of a run.
Yeah.
It finally got me.
Yeah. But no, there is a public school within walking distance, so it'll be a pain in the ass to vote, and I've got to do it now. But at least that's not too inconvenient. It's just up the road from me.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I was actually very careful. I checked what is the penalty for not having registered for 22 years, well, I wasn't that specific, but like, what is the penalty for not being registered? It's like, there is no penalty if you enroll and be like, you should have enrolled earlier. There's no penalty for not having done so sooner. Okay, good. I'll do it then.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny. They're gonna be like, who the fuck is Richard LaRue now?
Look, if you don't know who Richard Laruna is, I don't care to know ya.
Speaking of everyone's favorite dick, Super Seducer 3 is available on a new platform. So if you still haven't bought it, it is now available on itch.io.
Indeed. And I
unfortunately,
I read there was a sale
no.
too.
Yes, there is indeed a sale. So if you buy it quick, you can get it cheaper than market price. But Humble Bundle said no, which is rather unfortunate.
Yet sadly not surprising.
No. Because they said it had explicit content, I'm almost convinced that Humble didn't even play the game. They just said, well, if Steam, GOG, and Epic all said no, let's not even take our chances with it. Let's just turn it down. Because there's nothing explicit in the game. like I've said many times, everyone is clothed in at least underwear at all times.
Right. So and they got fucking people doing that on stream on Twitch. Like, what's the issue with it?
Yeah, I know.
So I looked up what is Australia's stance on not voting.
Yeah, if you don't vote and you are registered, there's a fine.
$170. This guy got up to. He said he got up to $170. Another person said they got 50 to 70. Another one was 20.
Yeah, so I looked it up because I did consider just not voting, and I still might. It's $20 if you don't vote in a federal election, and if it's a state election, I think New South Wales is about 50, and I don't know what the penalty for local elections is. I didn't actually find that.
Yeah, it seems like Queensland is the place to that'll pick your pocket more.
But I might just get lazy and say, fuck it, I've got $20. I'm not going to go out and vote.
Not unless Richard Laruna is right there.
Oh, if he runs, if he runs for office in Australia, I will vote for him. I will make that effort. I don't know that he's eligible since he's English, but if he does, guaranteed, 100%, I will vote.
Details.
But yeah, you technically don't have to vote. You have to show up, get your name marked off the register. But once your name is marked off, you can just leave or like put in a blank piece of paper or whatever. Like, because it's a secret ballot, they can't prove that you didn't submit a valid vote. You just have to show up, get your name marked off as having attended.
Just show up, take your ballot, and just write, "This is bullshit," and then just hand it in.
Sounds like high school.
Yeah, no, like you could literally receive the ballot paper, put it in the box without even entering the booth to vote, and then walk out. Like that would be within the law. You don't have to submit a legal vote, like a valid vote. It just has to be, you have to attend the polling station.
Cynic says $20 fine is greater than standing in line.
Yeah, no,
that's fair. That is absolutely fair.
For federal elections, I will probably just choose to pay the $20. Hell, even the $50 for state elections, I've got $50, and it's not like elections are every day. It's like every few years I can swing, $100 or so to get out of voting.
Yeah. I mean, there's worse things to spend that kind of money on.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose of money, to my mind, is buying convenience. The reason I get my food delivered rather than learning to cook is it is more convenient. The reason that I buy games on Steam rather than heading out to JB Hi-Fi, it's convenient. So making life convenient is a good use of money, and I think not voting is definitely worth $50.
Yep. I would be in agreement.
Yeah. So, what games have you been playing, Johnny?
Well, right now I'm kind of in the Wind Waker.
In what? Sorry.
Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker.
Oh, right.
I've been playing that one.
I didn't like Wind Waker. That's the one with the boat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
It's not terrible, but it's a lot of boat.
It is a lot of boat. That's what put me off it.
It's like it's almost like Suikoden 4. It's a lot of boat. A majority of your time is spent traveling by ship.
No, that did put me off it. I like the Zelda game in the Zelda series in general, but that one was a bit of a letdown. I still think Majora's Mask is the best Zelda game.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I find that I like when the story is of a smaller scale. Like in Ocarina of Time, it's the standard save the world thing, whereas Majora's Mask, it's like save Termina Village. Really, that's and it's the same with Dragon Age. Dragon Age 2 is about a city of Kirkwall, whereas Dragon Age 1 is like save the world. And I think I like the more sort of the smaller scale of the story, because saving the world is a bit cliche.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with just being a local hero.
True enough.
That's another unpopular opinion. I think Dragon Age 2 is the best in the series.
I found a bunch. Well, my older boy found a bunch of PlayStation 2 discs.
Oh yeah.
And I took a couple of CD wallets. A couple of the games I had in there is let's see, I got one right here. Jet Li Rise to Honor, which is a pretty fun one.
Cool.
Let's see, the Jaws Unleashed, which was really, really stupid. Let's see. Those are ones I'm not going to play. Some of the SmackDown versus Raw games.
I love those.
Nice.
I love SmackDown versus Raw.
Agreed.
I think my favorite one is 2007.
I don't remember like what was in which game as opposed to the other game, but I just the series as a whole I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one I did a stream on a while ago. I think it was Just Bring It. It was either Just Bring It or Shut Your Mouth. I can't remember which one. But yeah, me and my friends used to like gather. Just we used to have like house parties with like tons of people coming in, and there'd be a bunch of drunk yokels just hanging around this TV, watching it as if it were a real event.
Yeah, I one of my favorites was I forget the name of it, but it was basically WWE Legends or something like that. and it was all the wrestlers that you actually care about. Like it was none of these losers that are wrestling today. It was like Andre the Giant, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan. You know, like people that
everyone up to the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People that you actually care about, and not, you know, I don't even know their names. I can't even give you an example of a nobody because I don't follow the wrestling. It's like they're all boring. But I think the biggest thing that happened to wrestling to me that put me off is they got rid of the silliness. Like you're not going to get Doink the Clown in modern WWE, or maybe they've gone back to it. But at the time I checked out, it was just people wrestling under their own names, no silly costumes, no silly characters, just straight wrestling. Like that's not what I want from the WWE.
Right.
Yeah, it went from being silly to just sort of like everyone's got to be serious.
Yeah. When I bailed on it, it was basically choreographed acrobatics without the cool story like antics to make it interesting. Like they were treating it as if it was an actual sport. Like this was as if they were like legitimately competing. And it's like no one thinks they're legitimately competing. Stop pretending that they are. Just make it fun like it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's there because they just are there. They're there because there's always a story.
And I used to really like Mankind with his ridiculous sock.
Oh man, fucking Rocco Sacco too.
He's like,
oh, that was great.
Mr. Sacco, and he does the mandible claw.
Yeah, I actually seen a clip on YouTube show up that I watched because it was about Mankind. It's apparently a newer series that the WWE Network's got going on where they're trying to find pieces of WWE/WWF history, like, and it was like they were looking for the original Mr. Rocco or Mr. Sacco sock that Mankind first introduced us all to. It was the only one of its kind because it was the one that Mankind made himself. Apparently, the rest that he used were done by another person or another two people that did.
Prop makers.
Yeah, the designs. But there was one that he himself drew the face on, and it had like I think it was like a goatee on it, and that's how you knew and stuff like that. So they were looking for that, and they had Mankind go with them to find it and convince the guy to let them take it and put it in the archives.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I still remember like shouting along with, "Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody."
Fucking, I can't remember if it was just part of an episode or one of the openings to an episode, but Letterkenny, they did a sketch in one of their episodes where they were talking back and forth using puns like they normally do, except this one focused on wrestling names.
Oh, cool.
So it's like, you know, we're all getting pretty hostile. It sounds like we need to use a little more dude love in this conversation. It's like, and you know, and they're all like, yeah, you're getting a little rowdy pipey over there, bud. It's like, you know what? This conversation's fast becoming a confrontation, so I'll tell you what. I'll offer you a Jeff Hardy handshake and be on my fucking way.
Yeah.
I think of all things, that is my favorite aspect of the Letterkenny series is their constant and casual use of puns in conversation.
Yeah. No, I really like the clips that you've put on your channel where they are just doing those rapid fire puns with each other. Those are really good.
Yes.
So you reminded me of The Simpsons. Rowdy Roddy Peeper. When they thought Homer was a creep.
Speaking of Rowdy Roddy, and going back to the nobodies of the New Days, I did hear about Ronda Rousey taking on the Roddy Piper theme during her time in WWE.
Yeah, that didn't last long.
My shock.
I was actually really annoyed because I was listening to Cult of Personality because it's a great song, and all the comments were, "Who's here from CM Punk?" It's like, God damn it! You should be here because it's an awesome song, not because some wrestler used it.
Oh man, I've actually been watching clips lately of recent WWE and past WWF stuff, and I've seen a lot of CM Punk clips in the last few weeks, which is how I know of the guy.
Yeah,
and I keep hearing Cult of Personality play as his intro music, and then the guy is such a complete douchebag as a character. I'm like, you're ruining it. You're ruining it, and I hate you.
I mean, I know nothing about the guy except that he had a thing on YouTube called Grammar Slam, which was one joke that he repeated over and over and over again. So someone would send him a letter, he'd correct the grammar, but like in a very aggressive way because he's a wrestler. And like it was funny at first.
Yeah.
But then every single video was the exact same thing. And it's like, okay, you could have just made one. Like this didn't need to be a series.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, like I know nothing about the guy. I just know about the character I've seen him portray, and I don't like it. He plays it well, but I don't like it.
No, I don't know anything about the character or the man other than Grammar Slam. That's my entire knowledge of the guy, and the fact that he has apparently taken over Cult of Personality, and people now associate it with him as instead of Living Color.
No, not people, Terry. Degens.
It is
Degens.
Degens.
Don't insult me by calling them idiots.
That's fair. I realized as soon as the word left my mouth that idiot was a bad choice of words.
Fair enough. I can see how that mistake could be made. That's why I'm understanding and saying it.
Yeah. No, as soon as I said it, it's like, oh, wait, wrong word.
Wrong person to say that word in front of. How dare you? Don't make me get credit up on you.
Apparently, Cynic has good taste. He stopped watching right about the same time Punk joined.
Yeah, I stopped watching back at the end of the Attitude Era. I picked up again when I lived with a buddy of mine for a while, and then when I first moved in here, I started watching it. But it easily patterned out because it's not what it used to be, and what it is now does not appeal to me.
Well, I remember like maybe 10 years after I stopped watching, I just happened to see it on because I had pay TV back then. I just happened to see it on, and I was like, okay, I haven't watched WWF in a long time. Let's check it out. And it's like, don't know any of these people. None of them have any personality. They're just, John Smith, the wrestler. It's like, okay, you just regular person who happens to be wrestling. Like, okay, this has lost all the magic. It's not for me anymore.
Yeah. Like, if anything, I was more interested to watch. Probably the majority of me watching the new stuff was only because I heard former stars were making a return or a one-night return appearance kind of thing, like a special return for just these certain events kind of thing. That was probably the majority of the only times I watched it. It wasn't the only times I watched the new stuff because I did want to give it a try, but like it's just not the same without the old guys. Like fucking Mick Foley, there will never be another.
Oh, there
Mick
will
Foley.
Never be another Mick Foley.
Mick Foley was a dedicated fucking guy.
But I do still enjoy the SmackDown versus Raw video games, even without knowing who any of these people are. The gameplay is still fine. It's still fun. It's still the wrestling game that I like. It's just I prefer knowing who these people are. That's why the Legends one is my favorite. It's like you can do Andre the Giant versus The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
My first foray into the 2K games, because they went from SmackDown versus Raw to the 2K
Yeah.
I think it was like 2K17, I think it was. And I'm like, well, I want to see how good the internet people are.
Oh yeah.
And so my first online character was Bo Burnham. I had actually made a Bo Burnham lookalike and changed his entrance music to oboe, which I was shocked that they let me do that. So, and yeah, when I came out and we started the match, and then I think it was about 10 minutes in, the thing gives out, like the server shut down or whatever, and I'm like, oh, well, that's bullshit. And I got a message like 10 minutes later, and he goes, I couldn't fight against you. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, oh, well, that's good.
Free win.
It gives me the win, but there's no other stats with it.
And another great thing about the video games, you can still get the bra and panty matches with the right ones.
Oh yeah, that's true.
2007 has one.
There you go. God, those were some good matches.
And I do agree with you, Della. No one seriously cared that the World Wildlife Fund and the World Wrestling Federation shared an acronym. No one ever got the two mixed up.
No one ever really noticed until the lawsuit happened. It's like, I'm pretty sure it was mostly because WWF got more attention than World Wildlife Foundation did. It's like, well, yeah, you guys call yourselves the World Wildlife Foundation. They've been calling themselves WWF. You have the same initials, but they've been using it. You haven't. Fuck off.
Yeah. No, but like even the people who noticed, like I did notice that there were two WWFs. You never got them mixed up except deliberately as a joke. Like if someone mentioned the WWF and like meaning the wrestling, you go, oh, I didn't know you were a conservationist. Like that sort of
exactly.
Like, shitty joke. No one legitimately got the two mixed up. No one rocked up to the World Wildlife Fund saying, can I get Steve Austin's autograph? Again, unless it was a joke.
As The Rock would say, it doesn't matter what your initials are. Yes.
I love it. Yeah, no, the wrestling used to be great.
Oh yeah, fucking. They had some great matches, like fucking the three-way matches with the Dudleys, the Hardys, and I think it was the Hollies that did the TLC, or was it another third tag team that did the TLCs?
It's the Dudleys, the Hardleys, and Edge and Christian.
Right. I thought it was either Edge and Christian or the Hollies, but
yeah,
the Hollies was easier to say, so I went with that.
No, the Hollies, they kind of like made an on again, off again thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But one thing I did like was back then they used to make fun of the people who were like really uptight and wanted everything censored. Like there was a group called Right to Censor, and like their entire purpose was to make fun of the like the Puritans who like thought the bra and panties contests was sexist.
Those motherfuckers.
And like every time someone's about to take their top off, they sort of blare the siren and they run out and put a stop to it.
Here's my question.
Stephen Richards.
Yes, him.
Here's my question that's clearly not a serious question because of what Terry just said. Why did no one think to hide the fucking the linen closet key on them?
It's no, like obviously the real reason was they can't show nudity on a family show. That's why they had them run in and break it up. But it was also to generate heat so that everyone hated these pricks. They kept ruining all the fun.
I did like the APA.
Oh yeah, the Acolyte Protection Agency.
Oh man,
Farouk and what's the other one? Bradshaw.
A good funny gimmick was always Rikishi.
Yeah. Well, Was it? What was it? There was Too Cool. Was it? There was like Scotty Too Hottie.
Scotty Too Hottie. Oh my god.
And I forget what the other one's name was. There was.
I gotta look it up.
Let's see.
Jerry Lawler's nephew.
Jerry Lawler's nephew?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Grandmaster Sexay.
Who was the Jerry Lawler's nephew?
Yeah, Grandmaster Sexay and Scotty Too Hottie and Rikishi.
Right. Because, like, one of those... Because, like, I know Jerry Lawler had a son.
Oh, it was his son.
There you go.
Brian Christopher. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Because I've seen a clip recently of Cole being a dick and bringing out Jerry's son to humiliate him, and that's how I found out about it. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
And he died.
Yeah, I saw a clip where the title was saying that, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. I never watched it, but that sucks.
And yeah, Malevolent Rider put Grandmaster Sexay in chat. I was looking it up. But yeah, thank you for that.
Man, fun times, man. Fun times.
They really were. I'm trying to think who else was good back then. I always liked The Undertaker.
Oh, definitely. Like, no particular order, but my top three would have to be Stone Cold, Mick Foley, and Undertaker.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Oh, New Jack died? That guy was... man,
2 days ago.
That guy was brutal.
Oof.
Who's New Jack?
That's a good question.
He was a ECW wrestler. And
I never watched ECW.
Right.
This guy, like, he would razor himself just to bleed. Like,
well, I mean, I think they all did, didn't they? Like, that's part of the.
But yeah, this guy's forehead was mush. Like you even touch it and it just bled.
And Mr. Yes says Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Yeah, they were big classics back in the 80s.
Oh hell yeah!
Especially Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was the guy's.
Ooh, that
looks like
the man who takes care of his head.
That looks like he spent the day rubbing it up and down against a brick wall.
It does.
Like a literal 24 hours straight. Up and down, up and down.
Oh God, the Ultimate Warrior. Mr. Yes picks him up. That guy was nuts.
Oh man.
The Ultimate Warrior who would spend himself before his entrance was over. Like,
come on, man.
I think he actually changed his name to Ultimate Warrior. Like, got it legally changed.
Probably. Probably another time, Ryder, but fair enough. We are going to close out here in the next 5 minutes. Just as a heads up. But, fucking, man, the brutality of it was so, like, fake or not, the brutality was was some enjoyable aspects of it as well. And yes, Undertaker with Paul Bearer and Kane, those were some days. Like the betrayal of Paul Bearer of Kane by Paul Bearer, fuck.
Yeah.
Those were some days.
One of the things that I really liked making fun of Badger with was, it's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
Oh, God. And you know what? They had some really good, just joke ass gimmicks for stars back in the WWF, like the Hurricane.
Yeah.
A fucking superhero, man.
Yeah, I forget what his full name is. Like Hurricane something.
The Hurricane.
Shane Helmsley is who it was.
That's it. It was
Right.
Hurricane Helmsley, yeah.
Right, Hurricane Helmsley, yeah. Fucking just as soon as the intro started, stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
I always loved it when like he would go in like Royal Rumble, like he'd go in and then just immediately get thrown out.
Yes,
Like-
oh my god! As soon as he walks in over the rope.
But no, because I was thinking Helmsley, but then I thought, no, wait, am I getting that mixed up with Triple H? So that's why I was like, is it Hurricane Helmsley, or am I getting that muddled?
Nope.
Well, I mean, Triple H
same name.
yeah.
No, but that's why I got confused. It's like, what was I only remembering Helmsley because I was thinking of Triple H? Was like, I was thinking?
Fair enough. And then, of course, Stephanie took that as a hyphenated of her last name too.
Yeah. I mean, that's smart. If you want your career in wrestling to go well, you marry the boss's daughter.
I mean, story-wise, that both helped and hurt his career down the road at times too. But yeah, that was fun. Like that was another thing I appreciate looking back on it too, was how often Vince took it upon himself to make himself the butt of the joke or the bad guy of the storyline for the views. Like that is some cool ass shit when you think of it like that.
Well, I think Vince McMahon, the character, was one of the best WWF villains of all time, or WWE.
Mm-hmm.
He was a very good villain. He played it well.
Like him and Steph play it very, very well. And then
I think she kind of overdid it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but with her, like you kind of like people just get ignorantly accepted of it because
plus tiny girl brain.
It's a tantruming princess. You expect it to be overdone.
Yeah. But also tiny girl brain.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying, and that's the character she portrayed. She portrayed the tiny girl brain angry princess who demanded everything go her way. Yeah,
she did a good job of acting like a spoiled brat.
Yes, and they had a nice juxtaposition with Shane and Linda too, right? Like more often than not, they were on the opposite end of the scale of that. There were times where they were just as conniving or on the same side as the other two, but for a lot of it, they were.
I always hated Shane. I don't know why. Something about Shane McMahon pissed me off. I just hated that guy.
Like he was tolerable as a good guy, but he was just cringe as a bad guy.
Yes.
There is one thing I remember that he did that I thought was pretty cool. He leapt off the top of the Titantron and is 30 feet, some massive distance from the top of the thing down to the ground, and he just leapt off it. Like, holy shit.
Like, was that his Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker?
No, I think it was the Big Show.
Okay, because I remember seeing him do a Hell in a Cell match with, I think it might have been Undertaker, but I could be wrong, where he did like a 20 to 30 foot jump off the top of the cell onto them, and as soon as he got down there, the guy rolled off the table because he had him laying on the announcer's table before he jumped off.
No, this was not off the top of a cell. This was the top of the Titantron, like the actual big TV.
50 foot leg drop.
Fuck.
It was a Big Show.
Okay,
no, that's a double drop. Never mind.
Either way.
Oh no, it was Big Show.
Yeah, I thought the Big Show was a stupid name. Like he was the Giant when he was WCW, so they obviously couldn't keep the name. Mm-hmm. But that was a much better name than the fucking Big Show.
Yeah. I mean, it's just as on the nose.
No,
he's big, yes, and he's here to put on a show. Yes, congratulations. You guys really reached far to come up with the creativity on that one.
And at least the Giant sounds like a proper name for a wrestler. Like, it doesn't sound ridiculous. It just like Andre was the Giant as well.
Yes, exactly.
The Big Show just sounds ridiculous. And I did like his theme song because it was so goddamn stupid. Well, it's the Big Show.
Dum, 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 dum.
That's perfect. It's dumb. It's dumb.
Big Show tonight, y'all.
It
was like
so on the nose.
The worst song, and I loved it because it was so stupid.
Yeah, I liked. I think the better characters that were more for like not even really like storyline or anything had the most ridiculous theme songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to really like Kane's theme song. I used to think he had a great one.
Oh yeah.
And Stone Cold did well to have the shattering glass at the very beginning of his, because you instantly knew he was about to walk out as soon as you heard. Psh, and it was like,
Yes.
Yeah.
And same with the Mankind in the car crash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not only that, it was the car crash is such an appropriate sound for Mankind himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like everywhere he goes, destruction can be guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but it can be.
Well, and then if you think about it, like the most popular characters had some sort of signifier before their appearance.
Yeah, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah. Well, it's like Undertaker and the Gong.
Yep, that's another good one.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I thought was clever is the whole reason for Mr. Socko. Like, it's unhygienic for Mankind to stick his bare hand into someone else's mouth to do the mandible claw.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he had to cover it up. But instead of just making him wear gloves, they actually made a whole character out of Mr. Socko purely for him to put on just before he did the mandible claw. And I thought that was okay. That's funny.
And it was even funnier when he pulled it out of his pants.
Yeah.
Because it's the most unsanitary place.
Fucking, I saw a clip on YouTube. There was a WWE court or something like that, and basically Mick Foley was it was against Eric Bischoff to see if he should keep his job as a general manager, and Mick Foley was on the opposite side of the representation. And one of the witnesses that got called, it was a ditzy diva, and before they started, she sits down and asks Mick, "Is it all right if we do this with Mr. Socko?" It's like, well, I mean, Vince, if it pleases the court, carry on. So he pulls it out of his pants. All right. I'm like, fucking A.
Kurt Angle did really good job too.
Oh, I loved hating him.
Like, he was a good bad guy.
Yeah, he was.
It was because he was a dumb bad. He played a dumb bad guy.
I loved it. I loved it when it was. I think it was him and Austin.
Yeah.
And he was trying to prove that he could be just as badass as Austin.
Oh God.
And he put on that little like toy cowboy hat around his head.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. He was in the office with Vince and Austin, and Vince and Austin are both wearing cowboy hats, and Austin looks at Kurt's like, "I got something for you, man." So he holds out a box, gives it to Kurt. Kurt opens it up, puts on a tiny little toy fucking cowboy hat. It's like just
like
it's as wide as the rim of his head. That's how small the hat is on Kurt. And he said, "There's like, yeah, what are you guys now?" And they're like, "Yeah, okay." Yeah. It's like the adult trying to tell the kid, you know, you're at the table. It's just the kiddie table next to the adult table. Okay, don't get too cocky.
But one of the things I thought they did really well was whenever someone wanted to change their image, they actually made an entire match out of it. Like Kurt Angle wanted to shave his head, so rather than just have him shave his head, they turned it into a loser gets their head shaved grudge match.
Yes.
And obviously Kurt was always going to lose because he's the one who wanted to shave his head. And unmasking matches where clearly someone wants to rebrand without a mask, so they have them lose a mask versus mask match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually feeling a little lazy right now and probably going to go take a nap.
Fair enough.
You guys got any parting thoughts before I end the stream, though?
Let's see. Get Super Seducer 3 on itch.io if you haven't already purchased it on Games Planet.
Fair enough. Johnny?
I got nothing.
I feel sorry for your wife. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming and checking out the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Johnny and Terry, for coming to hang out with me.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Right back at you guys. Join us tomorrow, as always, when Quiz is expected to host with another paint stream, as it is Monday or Tuesday if you're Australian. And that is what we expect on those days. Keep an eye out on Discord and Twitter to know whether Quiz will be starting early, late, or on time, because sometimes it can be iffy, but it is one of those three guaranteed. And you know what? He's definitely worth checking out. He does some pretty cool. He talks about some pretty cool shit. He put a lot of effort into a very interesting intro, and watching him paint is such a relaxing thing to do.
Though
Plus,
Cynic is right, it does need less donkey.
well, I mean, everything needs less donkey, but we're stuck with him. What are you going to do? As long as he's not hurting any crickets, I don't mind.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Well, other than that, guys, the zoo is closed, and that's the bottom line because Delahazed said so.
Bye, everyone.
So thank you, and have a good night, all.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.